Oh my God. Hello and welcome to this podcast episode. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Should I get better light? I feel like it's really dark in here. Let's turn on a lamp. Oh, yeah. That looks so much better. Okay, literally why am I doing this? Okay, actually, we're gonna get serious. I'm your host, Camila Avalar. I didn't buy. I rented this microphone from my school, my communication department school, and it plugs directly into my phone. Hello. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna do a podcast episode. I thought it wasn't working. Anyways, I don't know how long this will be. Oh my god, my phone is at 7%, and I literally can't charge this while I'm using it. Well, it may be a short one. I wanted to go today's podcast. Today's podcast episode. I really wanted to talk about concerts, and I wanted to do a bad concert and a good concert. Basically, Jesus fucking Christ, podcasts are harder than I thought. I wanted to do the best concert experience I had, and then also the worst concert experience I had. That is very different from if the actual concert was good. I would like to say, like, the experience itself is, to me, is detached. Oh, not detached, but it can be very different from the actual concert, which will be apparent from the stories I will tell. I honestly already have a story for the bad one, immediately, but I will do her first. But let's go through the concerts I've been to. I've been to 37 concerts in my life. I started going when I was 9, so you got to give it some perspective here. But honestly, it really picked up after COVID, or not after COVID, but once we were allowed to actually start going places, I started going to a lot of concerts. That's also because I was in college, so it kind of makes sense. But I'm going to speed run through the concerts I've been to. I've seen Justin Bieber, Jake Miller, Justin Bieber, R5, Harry Styles, Billie Eilish, Khalid, Blink-182, Pitbull, Phineas, Lainey, Harry Styles, The Driver Era, Magic City Hippies, The Dip, Justin Bieber, Billie Eilish, Conan Gray, Rex Orange County, Post Malone, Billie Eilish, Harry Styles, Joshua Bassett, Inhaler, Sabrina Carpenter, Adele, Roll, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Coldplay, Renee Rapp, Jonas Brothers, the Trilogy Tour, which had Ricky Martin, Pitbull, Enrique Iglesias, Beach Weather, Melly Martinez, and Lizzie McAlpine. Whoa! Kind of a little bit of a diversity. Obviously, there is some repeat offenders. But I'm just going to go into because honestly, the best experience, I have one in mind, but it's so recent. I'm like, really? There wasn't a better one? But honestly, this one was really good. So I'm going to start out with the bad story, though. Okay, so basically, this was let's look at what number it was. It was my 21st concert. And before I even say the name, it was not in my usual territory of concerts. My home used to be Portland. I used to go see all my concerts there, but now, since I am in Seattle, I see the concerts in Seattle now. So those are my home territories. This one I saw in LA. Oh, and I feel like if you know me, I probably have talked about it before, but it was, let me just fucking say what it was. So why when I started recording, the mic gave out when I was saying what concert it was. Why? But anyways, what concert it was actually the Happier Than Ever, the encore shows in LA, and this was night 3, so the last night of the encore shows. I was basically saying also who I was going with. I went with 2 of my friends. Their names are Key and Taylor. I went with them, and I met them through my hometown best friend Emma, because they went to college together. So that is what got cut off. So sorry. Okay, back to the podcast. Okay, we had a little technical difficulty, but it's all saved now. Anyways, I was saying who I went with. So yeah, I met them through my hometown best friend Emma, and this was actually my first concert, I think, out of my regular territory, because this one was in LA. And I was 19 at the time when I went to go see it. And first of all, it was just a scary thing because I literally bought the ticket and bought the plane ticket. And then I told my parents I was going. And it was a very scary time because, having immigrant parents and just like saying you're going to do something without permission was very scary. I know I was 19, but like it was still like a time, it's still like that, but that's not the point. Anyways, so we get to the place, we get there, whatever. Okay, hello, why am I doing this so bad? So, because we went to go see this concert, we all had pit and we all wanted to like get barricade. And the thing at the forum, if you don't know this, that you can get wristbands in the morning that basically like tell you what number you are in line, and then you come back during the hour that they are gonna actually let you in, and you line up by what you were in the number. And obviously, like the smaller number you have, the closer you can get to barricade, because like you're gonna be, the first one to enter, or however many. So me, Taylor, Key, we were like, okay, well, okay, but the thing about this though is that people will camp out for the numbers, if that makes sense. So like they don't start giving out the numbers till 9, but people will camp like days in advance so they could get like a good number. And we already knew people were doing that because people are crazy. And I mean, we're fucking crazy too. Like we did it, so whatever. But we were like, okay, well, people are already outside, like they're already camping there, we should get there really early in the morning. So we left at like 3 in the morning, we got there at 4, and we just hunkered down for 5 hours. But the thing is, it was just a fucking mess. Like usually, like the way like line, it's very much controlled by Stan Twitter, and so it was like really, like I was on Stan Twitter trying to figure out like who's line leader, like all of this is like this whole thing could be a story in itself, but I'm just trying to get to the actual experience of the concert. But this kind of plays into it too. Like no one was lining up properly, or like properly, like how proper can a improper line be, basically. But when it hit 9, mind you, like everyone was crowded on the sidewalks, like in a somewhat line. And when it hit 9, the security guards at the Kia Forum were just like, okay. And people just started swarming to the front, like trying, like, because mind you, we were on the sidewalk and the line started in the parking lot, because you're not allowed to be on property before. So people were like, well, it's public sidewalk, you can't kick us off sidewalk. And so when they said, okay, come, people just like were swarming to the parking lot trying to be in line. And it was squished as hell, like literally so fucking squished. It was so embarrassing. And the thing is, they were just like, you guys need to back up. It literally took us like 20 minutes to actually form a line, because that one, we were all just like squish. It was like a squished line, basically. And there's this girl, like she was really popular on Stan Twitter during this time because no one liked her. She had like split hair dye, basically, and everyone like just said how rude she was, and like how she just thinks she's like better than everyone else because like of how many concerts she attends, whatever. And she was like threatening people like to kick their ass, whatever. And it's like, girl, it is not that serious. But anyways, when the line finally like started to move, we got our numbers and we got like 130. So we're like, okay, like that's a pretty good, like in the hundreds, like that's not bad. So anyways, we went back to the hotel that we were staying in. We got ready. Mind you, we were running on like 2 hours of sleep because we flew in like kind of at night, and we didn't go to sleep until like 12. And then mind you, we woke up at 3. So like 2-3 hours of sleep, basically. Mind you, we left at 3. So like we woke up at 2:30. So anyways, we were not running like with the best of energy, but we like were rallying, whatever. We had to get to the venue back at 7. I think it was 7, something like that. We had to go back, and start lining up again. We ended up starting to line up, and mind you, this process, like, actually I think it's 6, because I'm pretty sure you get there at 6. They let you in at 7, but the thing is, they don't even let you in at 7. They start the process at 7. So you start lining up at 6, like back in the numbers that you were in, and then you start then you actually start like going through the process of all like these like lines, and then you get to security, and then after security you get into another line where you wait to go into the venue. It is like 2.5 hours of just like purgatory, basically. It takes so fucking long. But anyways, again, this, all of this kind of contributes, but people were just being so annoying. Like, I bet you didn't spend the night, da, 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 all of this. Where it's like, I get it. I know you, like, yeah, you put all this effort in, but like, to me, if you're not smart enough to work your way around people, like, please don't be hating on me. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I respect those people who, like, respect is a heavy word, but I see the people who are like spending the night trying to get the, like, yeah, go you, but like, I'm sorry, if I have a higher number than you do, like, or a lower number, I guess you're not getting in front of me. I'm sorry, like, I don't care. Too bad, like, I got the number first, like, whoops, like, not to be rude. But anyways, yeah, because like when we were in line, people would be like, we were supposed to be in front of you, like, can you guys let it pass? And I was like, I really don't want to. You can ask the people in front of us, because I know you're trying to get to the very front. Like, if they say yes, you can. And then the people in front of them were like, why? Like, it was just so awkward. Anyways, we actually get into the venue. Let's say we get into the venue. We're ended up second in barricade, right? It's getting packed. Like, people are already pushing, and the concert hasn't even started. Mind you, like, I'm gonna say this again, this was my first concert outside of Seattle or Portland, and I was around a bunch of stands. Like, I think a lot of people in front of me had flown in. Don't get me wrong, I also flown in. Like, I know, like, I also flew in to see this concert, but like, one of the girls in front of me was literally from Australia. You heard me right. Australia. And so I was like, what? Anyways, yeah, and the people in front of me were also wearing birthday hats. And I was like, I get it. It was like 2 days before her actual birthday, Billy's birthday. But I'm like, you are ruining the views of people. Can you please fucking take off those pointy, like, fucking party hats? It's pissing me off. Anyways, so the people around me were kind of chill. Like, I wasn't really like, I'm like fully lying, actually. I don't know why I said that. They weren't very chill. They were like, you could tell, like, they were being kind of catty. Like, they only talked to the people they brought, and or like the people they went with, and like, get it, like, I understand that, but it was also like, girl, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know, it's just weird behavior. Anyways, when the concert started, it just got, people were getting pushed left and right. Like, literally, like, from the point I started, like, I was fully pushed out because someone like pushed their way in, like, up to me, and so that means like I got pushed also, like, to the side. It was like a whole thing. But the reason why this truly was like one of the worst experiences was because simply the fans, like I talked about, like, in the beginning, they were rude to begin with. Like, in the lines when we were waiting for our bracelets, like, people were rude. Like, they were not very nice. And at this point, this is what really gets me, and I think about it all the time, and if these people ever heard this podcast, so I hope you feel bad about yourself, which I know they don't, because they were bitches. Anyways, once I got pushed to like the side of me, I was still kind of in second barricade, but I was in like a weird limbo of being like ahead of the third row, but like behind the second. It was like a weird mix I was in. So I was kind of being pushed up, and when everyone was dancing and jumping, whatever, I was kind of like trying to jump my way back into my spot because the guy who pushed in front of me, but like the person was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm sorry, like, I'm getting pushed, like, I'm trying to get to where I was. And then she was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then she, like, at one point, I'm saying lady because you'll understand why, she, like, when Billy was talking, she started like trying to make room around herself, and like was like making circles with her body and her butt, if that makes sense. Like, she was basically doing like hip circles to try to get people away from her. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm trying to get room. And I was like, oh, okay. And then again, another song started, and she was fully pushing me, and so I was pushing her back with my shoulder, like, bitch, don't start with me. And she's like, I'm done, I'm calling security. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Literally. And she's like, security, this person's pushing me. And I was like, what? And then I was like, what is happening? And I was like, literally, no, I'm not. And I was like, you were pushing me, like, you were fully trying to push me out of my spot. And then she was just like, the person next to her was like these bitches, like they're not doing anything, like you're a bitch, like whatever, like she called me a bitch, whatever. And I was like, okay, why the fuck am I a bitch? And then she was like, are you cussing on my daughter? I'm like, that's your daughter? And then she's like, yeah, mind you, this lady looked like 25. The other girl looked at least 16. And I was like, that's your daughter? And she was like, yeah, is there a problem? And I was like, no, you just look really young. Anyway, she tried to like get me kicked out of pit, but like the security guards don't give a fuck. And the thing about, I did mention about this one person who was from all the way from Australia. I was behind her this whole time. I had talked to her at one point. I tapped her shoulder and I was like, hey, like, wasn't I here the whole time? Like, I talked to you, no? She was like, I don't remember, and just turned around. Okay, you're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bitch. Like, literally, they were just not fun to be around. No one around me was fun to be around. Mind you, I also got separated from my friend group because of that random fucking guy who pushed his way through us. So, like, they just weren't around me for, like, half the concert. But they simply they just ruined the vibe. They ruined the vibe overall. The concert itself was really fun. I love Billy, and that was just a really fucking fun concert. I got to see Lovely sang whatever by Billy and Khalid live. I feel like not many people can say that. Obviously there's like many thousands of people who can say that, but like only thousands if you think about it. So yeah. And then I also saw Childish Gambino live. Hello, that's crazy too. Anyways, I would say one saving grace of that whole thing that happened was because this one lady at one point, I think I started retreating kind of back. I was like, oh, like there's too many people. The bitches in front are being bitches. Like, I don't want to be near them. I started like kind of taking a couple steps back, and I wasn't like super in the front anymore. And there was this person next to me, and when Billy was singing, she sung like Have Yourself Like a Merry Little Christmas. She sang that song. Like, I wanted that recorded, and I was trying to get a video of her, but since I was kind of far back and like those fucking people with their fucking party hats were still in the front, like it was really hard for me to get a video, and I kind of started recording the monitor instead, which personally I have like a vendetta against that. Like, I feel like if you're filming a monitor, what the fuck is the point? I don't know. I really hate filming monitors. I would rather film like the actual person. But I was really having struggle with it. And the girl behind me was like, do you want me to record the video for you? Like, I can see. And I was like, yeah, that would be really nice. So she recorded the rest of the video for me, which I thought was so sweet. And then at one point, Billy was like, hug your friends, like tell them you love them. And again, I was separated from my friends, so I could not physically hug them. And the girl who recorded the video for me, she like gave me a hug. She's like, I love you, I'm so happy you're here. And I was like, oh, I love you too, girl. It was just really sweet. Yeah, so like that honestly really saved the night. But the fact that I almost fought a fucking mom and her child, I guess, it was too much for me. And the line was too much. Like, everyone was just being catty. Like, and I did not have that experience, obviously, when I went to go see her in Seattle. It was, like, basically the same tour, like, Happier Than Ever tour. I saw her in Seattle, and she was fine. Or, no, not she was fine. Like, the experience was really good. But also, people, we need to teach concert etiquette. Like, truly, I don't know how people don't understand. Like, concert etiquette, it's just gotten so bad. But also, I think this episode was already, like, 20 minutes long. But yeah, so I think I actually will just keep it to the worst concert experience. Again, this does not reflect at all the actual concert I watched. The concert of Billy and like the encore show that it was called, it was like so fun. It was just so fun. You could tell she was having so much on stage. So much. She was having so much fun on stage, and also like obviously the guests that she brought out, like that was so exciting. Like we got to sing happy birthday to her, which was so fun, and like obviously she was playing Christmas songs as well. Like, I don't know, it was a good time overall. Like, it's definitely like a moment. Like, obviously it was different than like what she was doing, so that's what I really loved about it. Even though it truly was one of the worst fan experiences I've ever had at a concert. But honestly, I probably am going to end it on that because, again, this is already getting long. I'm trying to think of, like, the best concert experience I've had with fans is what I'm wanting to talk about. Or not fans mostly, but, like, before you even get into the concert, you know? Like, it's a different vibe. It's a different experience. And a lot of them are, like, you know, they're just different. Honestly, I'm not sure yet. But we'll see. I could always talk about, like, a really interesting concert experience that happened. It literally just happened to me like 2 weeks ago, which I want to talk about. But anyways, that was today's podcast episode. I'm so sorry. This was actually a horrible podcast episode and you didn't listen all the way through. But I had fun. I would like to dedicate this episode to Carson and Natalie because when I jokingly said that I was going to make a podcast episode, they were like, I will listen to that. And I was like, would you? So if you made it this far, I guess you actually did listen. But yeah, I hoped you liked it. Also, I didn't even address the posters up here. That's so funny. That's literally the tour I was talking about, but it doesn't have the hometown encore shows on it. But yeah, so that's the end of the podcast episode. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you want to listen to me more. Oh, my squish fell. Yeah, I guess this may be actually the only ever podcast episode you get from me, considering I do have to return this mic. So, we'll see. Okay. Bye.